Good, clap. We're driving a 2020 Jeep Renegade. Coming up, I'm going to tell you about a Renegade option you should really think twice about. But first, information explosion. Let's get this Renegade ball rolling. Interior. This is weird. There's a guy in an AMG E53 coupe who is doing like 20 miles an hour. Sweetie, screaming at him to drive faster.
No, because he's not even staying in his lane. He's on his phone.
Definitely
He's on his phone.
You know what? Maybe I'll just slow down and then let him go by.
Give him
Carry on.
berth.
While we wait for that Mercedes to crash, let's talk about the interior.
It definitely seems more cramped than my car. From that perspective, I'm glad we went CRV.
Yeah, CRV is a compact SUV. This is a subcompact SUV.
So really, we shouldn't be...
Oh God, he's doing the thing again. You know, there's no reason why we can't do two things at once. We're going to talk about the Jeep Renegade, but we're also going to use this as a case study for inattentive driving while keeping a relatively safe distance. I'm just curious how this is going to play out.
Right?
Getting back on task, are you getting some good vibes from this? How does it feel? Feel free and poke around a little bit. Don't be shy.
It definitely feels less rugged than the Wrangler we were just in. Like, this feels more like a regular SUV.
Yeah, they're trying to emulate some of the stylistic components that you'd find in a Wrangler. For example, you have the O handle. When I'm dodging that Mercedes coupe because things have really gone off the rails, you can cling to that. Yeah, there you go. Oh. I think the inclusion of leather in this trim elevates things a little bit. Let's talk about seat comfort real quick. On my side, I've got power adjustment, I've got adjustable lumbar support. It's kind of catching me in this region, but I don't know if that's just my physicality or not. How's your comfort over there?
It's actually fairly comfortable, even though I do not have all the delightful adjustment that you have over there.
Yeah, you got the manual seat. Let's talk about cargo space a little bit. So even though it's a subcompact, you've got 18.5 cubic feet behind the second row. And what's really neat is that you've got the two-level load floor. So you can have it up if you want easy slide in for cargo. You can drop it down if you want a little extra space and keep things from falling out the back. It's a very functional space. The releases are on the top of the seats. It might be difficult to flip them down from the back, but when you flip them down, there's a good amount of space in here. You know, so I think even if it's a smaller vehicle than you're used to driving, you can really make it work. You've got the split fold seats there. You've got a flip down armrest with cup holders. This guy has a dog in the car too?
Oh no!
An unharnessed dog? Oh gosh.
Oh dear. One thing I did notice about the flip down armrest in back is that when you flip it down, which you'll want to do because that's the only place you have decent cup holders, it creates a direct access from the back seat to the cargo area.
That's exactly right. You've got a little bit of a pass through there. So if you're you know, going to the lamp district again and you're getting yet another long lamp, or you're going skiing with your active lifestyle, you can do a lot of things with that pass through there.
Who wants a shoe?
So we had talked about buying this as our family vehicle. What do we think about family friendliness? Put ourselves in the mind of a slightly younger Evie and Micah.
It's a smaller vehicle, but everything is well laid out enough that you could absolutely make this work.
Yeah, I think the challenge would be a rear-facing car seat and front seat legroom. That would be the one issue, but for a small family with like one child, I think that's workable. And one thing I noticed, the latch points are not only super easily labeled, but there's no futzing. You just slide them back and they immediately latch, which is really convenient. You do have 3 tether points, so you can place the car seat where you want it. If you want a middle position for maximum safety, that's an easy thing to do. I think the climb-in height for our daughter is no problem. So what do we think? Family friendly?
Absolutely.
Family friendly. Rear window test. Armrest test. This is a little bit of a surprise, but the inboard here, you've got the sliding motion, so that puts the armrest right in a great spot. I can easily hold an 8 and 4. Okay, they could be a little further in, but I can definitely do an 8 and 4 position, and these are very, very squishy armrests. That's gonna be 2 elbows up. Renegade. Hey, have you subscribed to our channel yet? If you haven't, please do. At 50,000 subs, I'm gonna tell you a terrible dark secret about my hair. Style! When we were considering buying a Jeep Renegade, I would say the the greatest single component of consideration was how cute it was. How do you feel about the Jeep Renegade now, even though it's been on the market for quite a few years?
It's still super cute.
So cute. Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
One thing that I haven't noticed before, but was probably in previous generations, is those little, is the way I'm trying to think of a nicer word than bulge.
Lean into it, baby.
So the rear haunches have a little bulge.
Sure do.
It makes it look organic, like it's growing out of there or something.
Like the Renegade's getting ripped?
Yes! I do like the grading in front, but mostly because I think it looks like fancy fishnets.
Once again, in the meeting about what we think the Renegade's going to look like, they never said, we're looking for something that has sort of a fishnet vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, not slutty, but definitely seductive.
Like classy fishnets.
Yeah. Like, we're not afraid to have a good time. The things I'm noticing about the exterior, 19-inch wheels on this car, and they don't look crazy. For a subcompact, 19-inch wheels should be outlandish, and yet they feel proportional. That's odd. Hey, sweetie, do you want me to show you some cool things about the Jeep's design? Okay. They put a little Jeep picture inside the windshield. Isn't that fun? Sasquatch.
A spider.
A fake spider. And look.
Tail, baby.
It
It bit me.
It bit you. Are you Italian now? You are a Muzio. It's almost too much.
Too much is always my favorite amount.
If you're curious what I am driving and flying between YouTube videos, follow me on Instagram, and also follow Evie if you're curious what our family is doing in motion. Talking about steering feel in a Jeep doesn't make a ton of sense, so I'm just not going to. Ride quality is actually quite good, especially compared to the last Jeep we drove. This feels very refined and very quiet. And now I get to complain. We're going to talk about powertrain tuning for just a little bit here. It's a turbocharged engine with a 9-speed automatic transmission, and when you just start pulling away, come on in, Tesla driver, you're welcome here. Even though you've got fake carbon fiber appliques on your door handles.
Even then?
Even then. And they say Tesla on them, as though we didn't know.
Well, you pay Tesla money. You want everyone to know you have a Tesla.
Yeah. So when leaving from a stop, put your foot down and you start to accelerate, you will feel surges and jerks. Coming from a stop, there's occasionally kind of like almost like a thunk. There's so much weird stuff happening, and then you hear through the gear changes, it's like, there's this weird inconsistency, and I really dislike it. I hesitate to say it's just plain bad. Did the long pause convey what I needed to convey? I think it did. I feel like it did. Yeah, okay, good.
That tiny window in back might make it a bit difficult to see out my blind spot. Is blind spot warning included?
Yes, blind spot warning is included on this one. It is optional. It's not that there's not a window back there. There is a window. It's just placed so high that you can't see any cars that are over in the corner. Spring for the blind spot, won't you? Depending on your perspective, the Jeep Renegade could drive with rich Italian character, or it could be a little bit flawed depending on what you're paying attention to. Emotion factor. What do you think about the emotion factor?
This seems to strike a nice balance between fun potential with this handle here.
Yeah, people love a handle. Nothing's more fun than a handle. That's when people have toilets. But it implies that there is an off-road potential, that you could go do something, have an adventure with it. The exterior implies that too because of its Jeepy details.
All the fun Easter eggs, I love that aspect of it.
You love a fun color, and there are fun colors available, most of them for $200, but whatever.
I'll pay $200 for some fun.
If you're feeling emotionally moved to buy a Jeep Renegade of your own, check the Kelley Blue Book listing link in the description. Remarks! As teased at the beginning of this video, there are a couple of options that you really have to think twice before adding. When you go in the configurator, do you know that from the factory you can get your Renegade with BMX and snowboarding decals on the rear quarter panel?
No way!
Oh yes way. If you get the snowboard decal and you don't snowboard, oh, for shame. The automotive gods will not be smiling on you. This is a little thing, but the Renegade has a capless fuel filler, and that's kind of a nice deal. No more twisting the cap.
We are lazy, aren't we?
We are, but it's just, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't have a counter for that. The infotainment screen in this one is the 8.4-inch unit. Standard is a 5-inch unit that does not include Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You have to go up to the 7-inch screen for smartphone connectivity, and then we have the 8.4-inch unit. And I think the organization works great. There's the little sub-menus at the bottom here, plenty of real estate to work with. I think it's a nice interface.
Is 5 inches exceptionally small for a screen? Or is that average?
I'm so glad you said for a screen. Seems a little small to me. Is 5 inches too small? Tell us in the comments.
You never answered my question.
To actually answer your question, 5 inches is pretty small for an infotainment screen. 8.4 inches, pretty generous. And you know what we're working with, so.
Oh my.
Can we talk about sound for just a second?
Sure.
And I'm not talking about anything to move on from that infotainment discussion. There are a couple of fun sounds that this car makes. Here's one. Do you hear that?
I do. What is that?
Over here on the window switches, as a bit of a car drummer, I noticed the other day, I was like, oh, wait a second. That almost sounds like that Radiohead song, After Years of Waiting. That's sort of a fun little thing. And then the other thing I noticed too, okay, listen.
What is that?
That's the shift interlock. It keeps you from shifting out of park when your foot's not on the brakes. When you push the brake,
Ooh, that's weird.
clunk.
You're getting some crazy sounds.
I like when you get a fresh sound out of the interior of a car, so I'm gonna give that a big thumbs up. I was so distracted earlier about the size discussion, I forgot to mention that this has embedded navigation, which comes in handy if you're going to take the thing off-road in places where you don't have cell service. I'm going to talk about the engine real quick. The thing to consider is that the base 2.4-liter engine is roughly equivalent in terms of power. It has less torque than the 1.3-liter, but it's only slightly less efficient, and you have to spend $1,500 to upgrade to the 1.3-liter. They both have a 9-speed transmission, which we already talked about, and I don't want to talk about it anymore, so I don't know if it's worth upgrading to the 1.3-liter if you're thinking about powertrain choices. If you go with the 2 higher trims, it doesn't matter, you get the 1.3-liter standard. Hey, Renegade buddy, what's going on? Renegade, yeah! Wonder how many inches he's working with. Can you drive this thing without thinking about that damn Renegade song?
Nope.
Nope. Whoa, hey, 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 auto park the Renegade. All right, we have auto park. I push the button. Notice in the screen, that's kind of nice, they've got little Jeeps. We're parking between a couple Jeeps. Space found. Keep moving forward. Okay. So close.
Oh, it's so close. Nice.
We're doing this. Oh, that's funny. It's asking me to move back, but I think our tires are against the curb. I would say not a completely successful test of the auto park system. We're in the spot, but it could have been a little bit more graceful by not, putting a tire into the curb. But we didn't, curb the wheel.
Oh, God.
That's so loud.
Why?
I didn't park us here. You parked us here. Stop screaming at me.
Punishing us.
I need to turn down the volume on that. It's so loud. Okay. It was telling us that we were too close to the stuff that it parked us next to. While turning towards the sun here, I will quickly note that the visor situation and ode to the straight pipes, it does extend, but not far enough. But wait, there's an extension. That's also not far enough.
Oh, no.
It's like a 2-part success/failure. This particular Renegade has the advanced tech package, which costs $800, includes lane departure warning, which I really like because the color of the Renegade in the display changes depending on how safe or unsafe the situation is. So if everything's okay, it's green. If you start to depart your lane, it turns yellow.
That's
it's really
very
fun.
cool.
I kind of like that. There's also automatic emergency braking and dynamic cruise control, but it is not full speed, which I discovered when I was using it, and then it just stopped working at low speed. I'm sorry, you're too slow.
Did it tell you?
It told me that it was no
way?
longer doing its job, and then I had to apply the brakes. I'm just gonna go on record saying the only adaptive cruise control should be full speed. Do you like the sunroof?
Yeah.
Cool.
We just recently drove the Jeep Wrangler, and I noticed that they had grab handles here so you could get in when you were off-road. And the four-wheel drive system seemed a lot more complicated. How does this perform off-road?
So the grab handles are not necessarily related to off-road ability, but yes, this is less capable off-road. Specifically this one too. It is a simpler all-wheel drive. Well, they call it four-wheel drive, but it's not a wheel drive system. You have a few different modes that we won't use, sand, snow, mud, and mostly that's just about changing how the stability and traction control systems work and how the throttle reactions are. But realistically, if you want to go off-road, the Wrangler is a vastly superior choice. That said, there is a trail-rated, which is Jeep's way of saying the thing can go like on the Rubicon Trail, a trail-rated version of this called the Trailhawk, and it's actually pretty darn capable. It has like a crawl ratio for going over really, really difficult stuff. If it were me, I'd probably get a Wrangler. But
Okay.
if you are super motivated to either go off-road in a Renegade or at least look like you can go off-road in a Renegade, that is an option to you. Get the Trailhawk. By the way, it varies depending on trim, but the four-wheel drive system costs about $1,500 in the Renegade, which is reasonable. If you want to spend your $1,500 some other way, you can spend it on the destination charges. That's pretty pricey just for
Whoa.
destination, which brings me to a big point I have to make with all Jeeps, which is that they're pretty darn expensive. Do you know how much this one costs?
I don't.
$36,000. For a subcompact SUV, I'm going to give you a little bit of comparison.
Thank you.
Could, instead of getting this $36,000 Jeep Renegade subcompact, you could also get an all-wheel drive Hyundai Palisade LX trim for $1,000 less, which is a mid-size three-row SUV.
Wow.
Mellowing out my price-related negativity just a little bit, when I went on the configurator to see what Renegades run for these days, they automatically applied more than $3,000 worth of incentives. So the MSRP is not necessarily reflective of what you pay. In fact, I'm guessing if you walked into your nearest Jeep dealer with a little bit of swagger and a willingness to walk away, that you could get a pretty good deal on one. Nonetheless, the pricing just on the surface is a little, let's say, aspirational. Is there anything we missed? If so, tell us in the comments. Synopsis! In mulling over the essence of the Jeep Renegade, it's cute, it's rugged, it's generally well-mannered with occasional outbursts. To me, the Jeep Renegade is the domesticated alpaca of SUVs. You know, they'll spit at you if they're angry.
Ooh, I did not know that.
The more you know.
What a Renegade.
Reminds me of a song I once heard. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. At 100,000 subs, I'm going to review a windowless white van. If you want to know what we're driving or flying or doing as a family between YouTube videos, follow us on Instagram. Thank you, Future Evie. Did we have a good time?
Yes.
Is that a high five worthy time? I'll take it. High five? You too. Come get your high five. All hail the Micah drives. Let's hope the channel thrives. Don't forget to subscribe. Come get your high five. Up top here. And I said, hey, 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 hey. We're sitting in a Renegade. And I said, hey, 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 hey. We reviewed the Renegade. And I said, hey, 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 hey. We're sitting in a Renegade. And do you like it? We're sitting in a Renegade. And I said, hey, 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 hey. Ciao, baby. It's a Renegade. Yeah. High five.